Hey, everybody, this is Dave Rattigan, sitting across from Dale Lawrence and welcoming you to Inside the Line, Real Stories by Real Cops. Our frequent guest, we're happy to have him here
Fresh
today.
out of rehab.
He's full of energy. Nathan Arroyo, the actor, the comedian. Nathan, welcome.
Oh, thanks.
Today's title, You're Not So Professional 911 Operators. And we're going to start with this. The listeners all know there's a gas crisis going on right now, and the crisis is that it costs too much money for me to fill up my tank because the Isabella County Sheriff's Office in Michigan says that they have, because of the gas crisis, they're not going to send police to every call.
Yeah, they're just going to select calls that probably are life or death, people with weapons and stuff like that. Everyone else is just going to have to suck it up and learn to deal with it on their own. You got a neighbor dispute, the music's too loud, you get two options. Mind your own business or walk in his house and cut the electric speakers.
Isn't that what you used to do when you were a dispatcher?
What's that?
Didn't you, people would call you and say, my neighbors are making a thing, and you'd say, hold up the phone so I can hear their music at their party.
There you go.
And you'll be like, that music's
stop
not bad.
bugging me. It's a Friday night. I'm trying to watch a movie, will you?
So here's, this is something we think is going to be adopted by departments across the country. Who
Selective
knows?
enforcement, selective dispatch.
Selective dispatch. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Anyway, we were able to get a hold of a tape from some 911 operators.
It's a Great Lakes region. It's like a hillbilly dispatcher.
All right.
I think you might love them.
Okie doke, 911, what is your emergency?
I need help. I lost my medication again. I'm hearing voices.
Okay, okie doke, okay, and what is your location?
320 Maple Street. They're telling me to kill.
Oh, jeepers, it's a bit of a long drive, not exactly a lot of gas we've got here.
They want me to pick up the machete and go to my neighbor's house.
Okay, hold your horses. Now I want you to listen to me, and before you go and do that business, I want you to go to your bathroom.
Yes?
Okay, I want you to draw yourself a hot bath and, play some nice light folk music. I want you to lay in that bath, listen to the music, light some candles. Dim the lights, light the candles, slip into the tub, close your eyes. That'll calm you down and you won't have to slice anyone with no machete.
But the voices.
Oh, it should work. You'll be at peace in your nice warm tub, and if not, you drop a toaster in it. Thank you. Okie doke, 911, what's your emergency?
He's trying to get in the apartment! He wants to kill us! Hurry!
Okay,
Where are you?
okay, are you sure it's not someone on the TV, perhaps?
Yes, oh my goodness! No, it's a man! He's trying to break out the door! Oh my god!
Okay.
He's banging at it!
Okay, is there a big door?
I'm on the third floor! No!
Okie doke,
Oh my god, hurry up! Could you talk to me slow?
okie doke. Do you happen to have an automatic assault rifle of some kind?
If I had one, I would use it. No!
Okie doke. Maybe like a small handgun?
No!
Okay,
Hurry!
something pointy like a harpoon or a spear?
Harpoon! Spear! No!
Okay, hand grenade, perhaps?
Yes, I actually have one. No, I don't. Someone hurry up! They're gonna come in!
Oh, okay. Is it maybe too late to turn off your lights and tell them you're not home?
Well, I've been shouting! Of course! It's almost to the door!
Okie doke. Okay, I'm thinking of something. Okie doke. What's your location?
Think faster! 40 Pine Road, apartment 314!
Okay, that's great. Please hold.
Hurry! Oh my god! Hello?
Hello, this is the Sheriff's Department calling back. Are you still having those bad thoughts?
I'm actually feeling better.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to forget that. How quickly can you and the voices be at 40 Pine Road, apartment 314? Oh, jeepers, another one. You'd think this were a phone sex line. Hello, 911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, I stopped in a car accident. A man's hurt on Ogilvy Street. It's over near the Walmart. You need to send some help.
Okay, we'll definitely send one of our ambulances if it's got any gas in it, but till then, you got any CPR training?
No,
Okay, no worries, there's nothing to it. Is he conscious?
He's not breathing.
That's great. So what you want to do is pinch his nose, you're going to tilt his head back, and then breathe into his mouth just once.
What if I get germs?
Oh, okay, you'll be breathing in, so nothing's going to come back at you, okay? It's going to be a quick, strong breath, and then you're going to use both hands to pump on his rib cage.
Okay, how many times?
Oh, they change it every year or so, somewhere between 3 and 57. Just whatever you feel like. You're gonna pump it, and then breathe, and then pump, and breathe, and pump, and breathe.
Send somebody. Did you please just send somebody?
Don't worry, he's gonna be fine. You're both gonna be fine.
He's not breathing.
You're doing great.
He can't breathe.
You're doing
Please
so
send somebody.
good. Oh, look, I think they're sending out the ambulance now. Gonna put you on hold, thank you.
All right, so that was obviously a satire featuring our own Nathan Arroyo as the brilliant dispatcher on that, and we'll give props to the other actors, Brenda Pothier, Danny Gill, and Mariah Estelle. If you were listening to that, you might have thought to yourself, "Wow, these have to be fictional because they're such crazy calls and such crazy advice." But you would be wrong. Am I right about that, Dale?
Yes, not every dispatcher is friendly and helpful and courteous. Some of them are just completely off the rails. They go rogue.
Yeah.
Whether it's poor training, bad attitude, combination of all three to include they've just been there too long and they don't give a shit anymore. That kind of describes me my last few weeks on the department.
The last few weeks.
Last 5 years.
All right, so we've got a couple. We've got this.
We have about 4 or 5, and the first one we're going to start out with. A few weeks ago, May 14th, at around 2:30 p.m. in Buffalo, New York, at the Tops Friendly Market, an active shooter situation unfolded in which an individual went in there, killed 10 people, but shot more. And we're going to give you a 911 call of a young lady who was an employee at that store, and she called 911 in search of help.
She explained calling 911 after hearing what turned out to be gunshots inside the store. This is Letitia Rogers now telling her story on camera.
I called 911, go through the whole operator and everything. The dispatcher comes on, and I'm whispering to her, and I said, "Ma'am," "Miss, please send help, 1275 Jefferson. There's a shooter in the store." She proceeded in a very nasty tone and says, "I can't hear you. Why are you whispering? You don't have to whisper. They can't hear you." So I continued to whisper, and I said, "Ma'am, he's still in the store. He's still shooting. I'm scared for my life. Please send help." I really can't believe that somebody just really from 911 just hung up in my face, and nobody never called back.
Well, that's terrible, Dave. Let me play devil's advocate on that one.
Yeah?
I did some research. I know in Massachusetts, 911, you can do text to 911, meaning you don't have to speak.
Right.
So she should have just texted.
But then again,
she should have texted.
I'm
just kidding.
She should have texted.
She didn't know.
And how are you going to put that on a billboard? If you're in trouble, text 911. Actually,
you text 911, then you actually text your messages, and it comes on the 911 operator's screen.
I know.
So you don't have to talk to people.
I know how texting works.
You know how to do that, Nathan? You know how to do that?
Yeah.
You ever text 911 and written you up?
I send dick pics to 911, and they usually send someone over pretty fast.
There you go. You wonder how some people spend their weekend nights.
Yeah, so just as a public service announcement to all our listeners, that is an option in many states, but not all states. You'd have to kind of check with your own state.
You have to know your own state. You have to be on guard.
No
matter where you live.
Just bring a gun to her. If she had a gun, she could have de-escalated it.
Or she would have shot herself in the foot.
And she would have shot herself in the foot, probably.
We don't know. It seems to me like she was doing the right thing, whispering.
Yeah, that would be a situation where you have just a disgruntled 911 operator. She was a female. I thought she was on for around 8 or 9 years. 8 or 9 years is nothing. I mean, I did 32 years, and I really started to get belligerent at around year 25, and I just rode it out for the last 7.
7 years of belligerence.
So 8 years of being 8 years of work, and then she's belligerent. I think that's a little too early. Probably about 10 years too early.
Nathan, when do you think a dispatcher should go bad on you?
Ideally, in a perfect world, they wouldn't go bad and they just do their fucking job. But this is not a perfect world.
No.
And so during a dangerous situation, this woman decided to go full cunt. No holds barred, went full cunt, and is pretty much resulted in the deaths of many people. So bit of a bitch, should lose her job, should lose her house, should be dragged through the streets, and
it's and I should say, Nathan, is probably better for the podcast if when you do use that C word, do it with a British accent.
Can't.
Keep working on that.
Can't.
No, that's not it. That's like a British serial killer.
Oh, you
maybe.
fucking cunt.
That's a little bit better.
I'm not 100% sure that I know what he just said, that people died. Obviously they died. Was it because of the 911 operator? I think at that point he had already started shooting. However, that's completely unprofessional, completely uncalled for.
It's hysterically funny because you think to yourself, as that's going on, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm trying to get into the dispatcher's head and think of a reason why they would do it. And I get it. They're talking too softly. Has anyone ever called a prank, or did anyone ever call a prank and try to, I'm in a lot of trouble, send a car?
People will call 911 and they'll usually be in a hurried voice or a panicky voice or kind of a soft voice like this lady was, and they'll say there's a shooter, there's a man with a gun, there's a guy who broke into a house, and the cops will show up full force, guns drawn, and it was just a spoof.
Okay.
So that does happen, but you don't treat a situation like that until you actually get there and make a determination on what's actually going on.
And I'm thinking,
that's no excuse. Not that she even has an excuse, but that is not even a remote possibility of an excuse.
Here's the other thing: who would whisper too quietly for somebody to hear? It'd be somebody in a situation where you've got basically the killer, maybe in a domestic, somebody's hearing through the house.
An astute 911 operator would have picked up on that and would have known that's a bad situation.
You think an astute one? You think? I mean, it would seem to me like an average.
A relatively intelligent one.
Let's put it this way. How about 99 out of 100 or more, or 99.9 out of 100?
An inexperienced one might not have picked up on that. But anyone who's been a 911 operator for a little while, a year, 6 months, would have picked up on that. Should have picked up on that.
Somebody calls up and says, I can't talk. There's a man shooting on the other side of the counter.
Yeah.
That seems like turn up the volume on your headset, lady.
You want to know where that 911 operator should go to work?
Where?
She should be hired at the White House as a 911 operator. And when someone calls him in the White House and says, oh, the president slipped in the shower and there's a whole bunch of little kids around him trying to get him up. He slipped on Mr. Bubble, a whole bottle of Mr. Bubble. You don't know what's going on with the president?
I know that he's slipping. I'm just trying to think if he's with the little kid thing. I saw him fall off the bike.
Little kids in the shower with the president? That's his daughter's diary came out. I don't know. What's a good age to shower with your daughter? I don't know, Dave. How do we even go off track on that? But that 911
went off track.
That 911 operator should be hired at the White House.
I know how we went off track, and I know why. And it all started when you started to watch Fox News. Anyway, let's go to this one.
This is right up Nathan's alley.
This was horrible. This is a horrible one. This was a story that made the news when it happened. And you get the 911 call?
Center for 911, where's your emergency?
Oh, this is Sandy. 231 Rock Criminal Road.
What's the problem?
Send the police.
What's the problem there?
The chip killed my friend.
What's the problem with your friend?
Oh, please.
What's the problem with your friend? I need to know.
Send the police up with a gun. Hurry
Who
up.
has a gun?
Please, hurry up. He's killing my girlfriend.
What is the problem?
He's killing my friend.
Who's killing your friend?
My chimpanzee.
Oh, your chimpanzee is killing your friend.
He ripped her apart. Hurry up.
With a gun.
Hurry up, please.
There's someone on the way.
With guns, please. You shoot him.
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey's doing.
He ripped her face off.
That's gross.
Good.
That's gross.
Well, on a positive note, she said that her friend was dead. She survived. She was horribly disfigured, Dave.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
Yeah, I
even a
remember
guy
that
like
case.
you, a lonely guy like you, Dave, probably wouldn't date her because she had no features on her face that you could tell it was even a face.
There's such a thing as inner beauty, Dale. There's such a thing as inner beauty.
Yeah, that
That's,
happened in Connecticut
That's
a few years
horrible.
back. in
Now, let me ask
Connecticut.
you this: was the dispatcher on that one? I could see where he seemed just kind of confused by what was going on, and maybe a little. I mean, should he have figured out what she was saying before? I mean,
I listened to it a couple of times.
The chimp screaming.
I listened to it a couple of times, and I got a little nervous because he seemed a little bit argumentative toward her.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what's going on. I don't understand.
Yeah, the chimpanzee is trying to murder my girlfriend. What's going on?
But see, that's a weird call because this is America. This isn't like the Serengeti. This isn't in Africa where chimps run wild.
Oh, you think in the Serengeti there are regular calls to the
But
police?
for chimps, absolutely. Cheetahs killing people, buffalo herds and all, buffalo stampedes. That's a very uncommon call for a dispatcher. So
it
he
is an
probably, it
uncommon
took him
call.
about 20 seconds to get into reality.
Right,
Then he
okay.
figured out, oh my God, a chimpanzee. Let me ask you this question, Dave. Out of the primates, which one is classified as the most dangerous?
The most dangerous?
Primate.
The primates.
Yeah. What's the most dangerous?
Human beings.
Oh,
Obviously.
keep them out of the equation.
Obviously, it's human beings.
It's chimps.
Human beings. I
Chimps.
guess that was human beings. I'm right.
Chimps are out of their mind. Yes, they're friendly. Her whole thing was it was a family pet for like 12 years.
I know.
They
I know.
adopted it. It was a little reckless in its other environment, but they brought it in. It was kind of calm. It drove the car. It was friendly. It had dinner at the kitchen table with them. And then she made a comment that, if you read the whole article, that at some point, maybe a month prior, it started acting out behavioral-wise.
Yep.
And then it basically mauled. It ripped her face apart, ripped her arm off. She survived, like I said.
Yeah.
Good for that chimp. For not taking any of that woman's fucking shit. What fucking idiot is gonna adopt a wild animal and be like, he's like one of the family. He's like my third kid. It's a fucking chimp. It's a monkey. A wild animal. It shits in its hands. And you're surprised when it rips off your face, you fucking idiot? If I were that 911 dispatcher, I would have hung up. That's when I hang up. God forbid, fucking a woman is in a grocery store. It's getting shot up. The 911 operator's like, I can't hear you. Hangs up, sends no help. But this woman's screaming on one end like, it's a monkey! He's a monkey in my house! The 911 operator's like, oh my God, there's a monkey in her house.
It's a chimpanzee.
We have to send the police. We have to send everyone to help.
Not a monkey. a
Fucking
chimpanzee.
stupid.
Well, here's the thing. What if the chimpanzee gets out and starts terrorizing?
It was
Good for
already
him.
it was already out. It was out. And they were trying to get it back into its pen or wherever it lived. And she was locked in a car. The calling party was the owner. She was locked in the car. She has subsequently died.
Good.
And her friend was outside of the car. She's like that lady where your friends run into the car.
Right.
And she locks the door and she watches her friend get mauled to death. Well, on a good note, Dave, let me ask you this question. Or let me ask you
And
this.
you know, here's what's
What
funny.
was that?
I hear Nathan going off, and I know Nathan's family, and he's talking about how, you shouldn't adopt a chimp. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, man, he's got long, hairy arms.
I'll tell you this one, Dave. Did you know this is a fact about young male chimps? Young male chimps prefer to have sex with the older female chimps because they're more experienced. That's kind of like you, Dave.
It is a little like
it's
me.
story of your life.
It is a little like me.
Always hitting on the old ladies when you were younger. Now you're like the old silverback. You're the old silverback, and you kind of run the whole group.
Do I really? Is
Yeah,
that
you're a
the way it goes?
silverback.
Wow.
Silverback.
That's the most impressive thing anyone's ever said about my dating life.
So anything else to say on this, Nathan? Because I'm going to wrap it up with I put some stats together on this. Might be interesting.
What made you put together stats on chimpanzee deaths?
Well, let me put it to you this way, Dave. I wanted to make a comparison between chimpanzee as the killer and American males as the killer. So, hold on. What?
I can already tell this is going to be the most retarded thing I'm going to hear today.
No, it's good. It's good.
Let me just do a real quick.
Did Tucker do a fucking story on this? The monkey. The liberals are trying to make the monkeys less sexy.
Yeah.
And all I want to do as an American man is fuck the monkeys.
All right. In Uganda a few years ago, there were 20 attacks by chimpanzees on human beings. And out of those 20 attacks, they were all pretty brutal. People were maimed and injured, but only 3 of them died. So that, Dave, is 15%. So 15% of those attacks, someone died. You go to Baltimore, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City. Out of 20 attacks involving a gun, people get shot in Chicago. 20 people shot on a weekend. You want to know how many people die from those gunshot wounds?
How many?
6. That's 30%, Dave. So if you look at it realistically, you're much safer on a Friday night, Dave, hanging out in the jungle with a group of chimpanzees, and the odds of you getting killed, if they attack you, 15%. That same Friday night, go to a park in Baltimore, go to a park in Chicago, hang out with a bunch of hood rats. You get a 30% chance of getting killed.
You know what's amazing about this, Nathan? I cannot believe that finally this is the story that gets Dale to champion gun control. It's weird.
You never asked me, Dave, have I ever known anyone in my time in the military that may have killed a monkey? Ask me that question, Dave.
All right, but as long as I can ask my follow-up question.
Yes.
All right? Why don't I ask the follow-up question first? When you were a cop,
Yep.
did you ever have a monkey call?
Never had a monkey call. We've had many calls with dogs like Rottweilers and Pit Bulls that had to be shot because they were attacking people. They attacked us one day. 3 police officers got out of our cruiser, and there was a Rottweiler.
Oh,
About 120-pound black Rottweiler, and came right at it. Literally covered 50 yards in about 2 seconds. We barely got back into our cruisers.
all right.
I shot it with a shotgun and I missed.
Okay.
Luckily, all the kids from the schoolyard had gone in.
That's you were fortunate, so nobody saw you.
We tracked it down because it was in a. We tracked it down because it was in a residential neighborhood. We shot it 7 times with a 9mm. Didn't kill it, and then someone shot it with a shotgun and finally killed it. Yeah, animals gone bad. Answering the question you were just about to ask me,
Yes,
Dave.
I was about to ask.
I knew a guy who had a monkey, not a chimp, just the little monkeys, the little 20-pound monkeys that
Okay.
kind of bounce around and sit on your shoulder and play the little.
Where was this?
This was in Saudi Arabia,
Okay,
and he had a monkey, and the
Marine-
monkey
a
kind of
Marine.
went mental.
a Marine.
He was in the Navy.
Oh,
Okay.
that explains
The
it.
monkey went nuts. It was a good monkey to begin with because it was a good pet. Then it just started going nuts for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe monkeys have mental breakdowns at some point. And it attacked him one night, and he fought it, and he put it in the cage, and it got out of the cage, and it tried to he said it literally tried to kill me. It was biting me, hitting me in the head, so he choked it to death with his bare hands.
Oh,
There you go, brother.
he didn't have a choice. He didn't have a choice. Could you imagine if that monkey had a gun?
Yeah, would have been a lot quicker.
Yeah, more effective. The guy would not be alive today if the monkey had a gun. What do we got here? The next one?
We have the weepy-voiced killer, Paul Stefani. He's from the Minnesota, another Great Lakes region guy.
And Stefani targeted women. He was a serial killer.
A serial killer, absolutely. And we have a 911 call from him. And here we go. The weepy-voiced killer.
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry I killed that girl. I stabbed her 40 times. Kimberly Compton was the first one. Oh, my face. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm sick. I'm going to kill myself, I think.
Where are you?
I'm just going to... If somebody dies with a red shirt on, it's me. I killed both people. I'll never make it to heaven.
Calm down.
Finally, I just stabbed somebody with an ice pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody.
Wow.
Yeah,
Luckily, he's already dead.
right. But so what happened with him? Was he picked up?
He was caught. Some of the crimes he actually admitted to, they were unable to convict him. They didn't have any evidence. The only evidence they had was his voice. People did identify his voice, but just because you call and say you killed someone,
Yeah.
you still have to have evidence. It has to be DNA evidence. It has to be some sort of evidence.
Did he recant?
Out of the 5 or 6 people that were killed in that area, he was probably only convicted about 3 of them.
That's a
And they
really
believed and they probably strongly knew
Yeah.
that he did it because he
this
admitted
is
to
the
it on
thing.
911. But
But if he doesn't, whatever the reason was for that, the certain crisis of
he
conscience.
wasn't a bad guy, Dave. He did it. He stabbed someone 40 times with an ice pick. He felt bad about it. And then, because he
But here's
wants to go to heaven, he said, fuck it, I'm just going to admit to it.
That's
There you go, Dave. So there's hope for you yet.
You ever get a call like that?
Yeah. We've had a couple of calls. We had a kid call.
Yeah.
A young kid who bludgeoned his mother to death with a hammer and a knife and everything else in between. And he called and said he had just killed his mother. We had a guy come into the station.
I remember that one.
And he said he had just killed his wife. We had another guy come into the station and said that he had killed his girlfriend. Luckily for us, it was in another community. So we just detained him for a while and we called the other community, went over there, and then they came over and picked him up and arrested him. So yeah, people admit to a lot of stuff over the phone.
Do they, the next day, do they then say that was not a real confession? I was blah, 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 blah?
Yes, because how it worked in one of them, when you call 911, the operator is supposed to say, 911, this line's recorded. Where is your emergency?
Yeah.
When the kid called and said he killed his mother, the 911 operator said, 911, where's your emergency?
Yeah.
And when the kid admitted to it, they pulled that out because the operator didn't say this line's recorded.
Ooh. But they also
he still went to jail for 20 years.
Okay, but the person who confesses, the next day they wake up and they go, what did I do?
Well, a lawyer will come in and they'll try to smooth things over and they'll kind of back things up a little bit and they'll try to get that usually excluded from evidence.
Which makes sense. If you get excluded, you would if you're a lawyer. It also means the person who makes the confession changes their mind, basically.
Absolutely. They don't feel as bad as they thought they did.
No, I had to call the cops for a murder one time.
What happened?
Yeah, no, I called 911. They're like, 911, what's your emergency? And I said, yeah, I just committed a murder. They're like, what murder? I said, I just murdered your mom's pussy.
Oh,
and then I hung up.
Well, Dave, let's get her pussy. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that in there. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna, because we don't get Nathan here too often. And we just take what we get when he comes. But as for the weepy voice killer, because this is another public service announcement, he got girls into his car because he would smooth talk them. He ran out of gas. When I saw his picture, he looked like a relatively normal guy for that part of the country, kind of a lumberjack, bearded guy, big burly type guy. Yep. And hey, if I was a girl who looked relatively attractive, I might have gotten into the car with him if I'm a lonely girl on a Friday night.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how we did it. So I look at that.
I got a feeling if you were a girl, you'd be easy. What do you think, Nathan?
Oh, slut.
Yeah.
Slut.
I say to myself, you don't even need that anymore. And I'm going to give Nathan a suggestion. Nathan, career change, Uber driver. The girls come in your car voluntarily. You want to be a serial killer, become an Uber driver. You got your pick of the litter. Every college girl from here to across the country, you get them in your car.
And there's no kind of an automatic trace of their whereabouts and their connection to your car.
Nothing at all. No career change, Nathan?
No, I think I'm okay just stalking them at night like I already do. From the shadows.
Do you wear like a trench coat when you do that? Okay.
No, to blend into the shadows because I am the shadows.
All right. All right. That's enough. You ever been with somebody and you thought, oh, they're kind of funny, and then all of a sudden it's like it gets really creepy, Dale?
All right, Dave. This one is right up your alley because I envision you saying this exact comment to a caller.
I'm the cop. I'm the dispatcher.
You're the 911 dispatcher.
All right. Excellent. I'm sure it's going to be something very intelligent. Probably sending.
Well, we all know about how tough your daughter is to raise.
That kid.
The 12-year-old is completely out of control, and I can't, physically, if she's as big as I am, I can't control her.
Okay, did you want us to come over to shoot her? Are you there?
Excuse me?
That's a joke.
Okay, that's not funny, Mike.
I'm sorry.
Guess what? I'm going to file a formal complaint.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, sorry doesn't cut it. I need a police officer.
Yeah, and this happens a lot. People will call the station, and whether or not their child is just so out of control, may have some mental health issues, maybe a large child, little baby type 12 to 13-year-old kid, but very large, and they can't handle them. So they'll call the police to help parent them.
Oh.
And I've taken a call like that many a time.
I didn't know if I didn't even know I could do that.
You can do that.
Wow.
You're gonna get the response that she got.
Oh.
Would you like us to come over and shoot your little girl?
Yes.
A little vixen?
Yes.
So I can see that happening.
Could you tase her for me? Could you at least tase her?
I'm trying to remember, but I don't think I said shooter, but I've made comments to people over the phone like that. We had a lady call one day, or she actually came into the station, and she was berating us because her 16-year-old daughter had run away and we hadn't found her yet. So basically, she's blaming the police department because her daughter was taken from her. Her daughter was in social service agency in a program. She was taken from the mother because the mother's frequent boyfriends had molested the young girl. So the girl's in the social services program. She runs away because she's a little alien. She comes to the station and starts blaming us. And one comment set her off. I said, I've known you for 5 minutes. I cannot undo 16 years of bad parenting in 5 minutes. That didn't go over too well, Dave.
No. But you're not, doesn't mean you're necessarily wrong.
Probably didn't have to be said.
I think some of these 16-year-old girls are evil. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. My own daughter. I've heard parents, and I've done it myself. You just wind up yelling at your kid. I mean, not so much as you should run away or anything like that, but and then what do? You're out of options.
Call the police, and the police come over, and if you get a nice cop, whether it be a male or a female, and maybe they have kids or they're good with kids, a lot of times they can de-escalate that. But then again, you might get a cop who's just kind of militant and going to set that kid off even more.
Right.
And then now you have an arrest.
Right. It's a dumb idea. So
as a parent, what I used to do when my kids were like that, just lock them in the room.
Yeah.
And just leave them there for a day or so. Give them a little food,
under the
little
door,
water, under the door.
Yeah.
And if they make it through, hopefully they've learned their lesson. Let me ask you a question, Nathan.
Yeah.
You could be a dad in a few years.
Why not?
How would you handle an unruly, if your son's like, you're a big kid, you're like about 6 feet, 210. Mm-hmm. What if your kid at 12 years old is like 6'2", 230 and just out of his mind? How do you handle him?
Well, first off, I'm not having kids. I'm getting a vasectomy, or the girl I'm getting pregnant, we're aborting that thing straight away. But if I am unlucky enough to have a child, but I'm just going to let him do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care. I don't want to raise this fucking kid. I'll let the internet raise him. I'll let fucking whatever fucking horrible website he wants to spend his time on, I'll let that raise him. That's not my kid. I don't care. Looks like me. Sure. That's fine.
I actually got a great idea during that little rant.
Oh, what's that?
A new podcast. Virgins talk about reproductive rights. All right, that brings us to the end. This has been Dave Rattigan, Dale Lawrence, our guest, Nathan Arroyo. Nathan, thanks for coming in. Mm-hmm. This has been Inside the Line, Real Stories by Real Cops. Like us, share us, all that stuff. We'll see you next time.